the hard section on the left.
Oh, okay.
It's not so hard,
yep.
but it's funny.
Come on. Hi, I'm JP, welcome to Enduro 21's YouTube channel and welcome to a pretty wet and muddy middle of France. Oh my god! Actually we're near Dijon and this is the 2025 Sherco Model Enduro Test. So this is just a quick riding impression review really, just to say, you know, these conditions are pretty bad, but it's been actually a really good test. We've been doing quite a lot of laps on this classic French grass test here, which is actually really slick now. And then in those woods up there's a big, long, quite fast in places loop. So you can see we've been testing all the bikes. There's every one of the range here, from the 500s, the 450, the 300, the 250 4-strokes, the 300, 250 and 125 2-strokes. And we've been testing them all morning so far. Actually the rain's beginning to ease off, but it's been absolutely horrendous at times, so in a way bad in terms of trying to get images to put on Enduro 21 and for all the other journalists here to put in their magazines around the world, but for us actually as a rider it's been a really good test. So there's a lot of feel and a lot of confidence in the front of the bike for front end grip. I've particularly enjoyed the 250 2-stroke in these conditions on this test. I've loved riding that around because it feels like you know, it's not quite so brutal as the 300. 300 was really good in a really technical section in the woods over there that was really hard and slick. Because it just chugged away right at the bottom of the revs, but the 250 for me was the most enjoyable bike, but I think that's probably just my preference anyway. Out in the woods, I did a really good couple of laps on the 450. I did one on the 500, but the 450 was brilliant, just so fast. There's a long uphill climb that some of the other bikes were, you could feel them struggling a little bit, but the 450 just ripped up there. And again, when you arrive at the turns on that big bike, even though you're coming at them faster, there's still that confidence, you know, even though the bike's heavier and you're arriving with more speed, there's still that confidence in the front end, in the fork, in the brakes, to find the grip, find the biting point, turn in and hit the line you want to be on. The SEF, here it is, SEF 300 is, along with the 300 2-stroke, this is their most popular bike, the biggest selling bike that they have, and obviously it's one of the most enjoyable to ride. Feels like that classic thing of being the best balance of power and weight. I had a little bit of a problem stalling it, I must admit, in the woods especially. It was a horrible slippery bit of camber that I just couldn't find grip on, and it just kept stalling all the time, so I wasn't particularly enamoured with it when one of my little tests on it. Come on! But on the grass test here, it felt great. It's got the right amount of power. You feel like you can find the right part of the gear to get the drive, even in these conditions. You feel like you've got the bike to do the job underneath you. It's a little bit of clarification. There are now two models in the Enduro range again, the racing and the factory. The factory bikes are every one of the models, 500, 450, 300, 254 stroke, 300, 250, 1252 stroke. And the racing models, which are the slightly cheaper. I think it will vary depending on which part of the world you're watching this from. Yeah, first of all, they're only doing the racing model in the 300 2-stroke and the 300 4-stroke. But one of the main differences is on that model you don't have the closed cartridge KYB fork. You still get KYB equipment, but it's the open cartridge. So a little lower spec and a little bit less feel and sophistication, but you know the payback for that is a lower budget, lower price. And there's also on those bikes also you get a lot of the same equipment. You still get still get electric fan, you still get the sump guards, you still get a lot of the equipment that comes as standard on the factory bikes. One of the big changes is this new air box and air filter. So now you can see inside there is the relay and the battery in the bottom, but it's a new air filter design which just clips straight out. I won't take it out because it's still raining, but it's a dead easy thing. You can do it with one hand, as you can see, more or less. Quite a lot different, quite a lot of new things going on the bikes. Slightly more out the way expansion chambers on the 250 and 300 2-stroke. A really good sump guard as standard, although in my opinion it would be better if it had a bit of linkage protection. You get a fan as standard, you get different mapping. There's a slight change in the bar height for this 2025 model. They say 5mm taller, but I feel quite comfortable with the setup there, so I enjoyed that. This is just a headlight switch, by the way. Kill switch, headlight switch, mapping switch, start button. What else to tell you? There's a new side stand which they say has got a better footprint, so that you can less likely to fall over, and they say 50% better cooling, which is a massive claim. The hoses, which are all covered in mud, you can't see them, are now all silicone hoses. I come away with quite a good impression of how nice the front of the bike feels, basically. So in these kinds of conditions, obviously having a lot of confidence in the front end to find grip, to hit the line you want to be on, it's really there on these bikes, and that's definitely something missing on some other models. So that's down to some changes up here. It's down to the KYB fork settings, in my opinion, which are probably the best I can remember on a production bike. Honestly, I haven't felt that good. They've got brand new brakes. They're actually Galfa, they're not listed as a particular product, but they're Galfa brakes. They have a stacker feel, these new rotors, with Brembo calipers, Brembo master cylinders. So even though some people were expecting maybe some bigger changes, maybe a new engine, maybe a fuel injected bike, who knows, maybe a new 450 engine, those things are coming, I think, but they're not here yet. For me, the big takeaway is how nice the bikes feel, how controlled they are, how good the suspension is across the different terrain, no matter what speed or no matter which model I'm on. I feel like I've got a super amount of confidence in the chassis and the suspension to do its thing. If you check in the bike section of Enduro 21, you'll see the long list of parts and things that have been changed for the 2025 Sherco Enduro model range. But yeah, all good. Read more on Enduro 21. Oh my god. Bloody hell, that's slippery.
Yeah, it's okay, thank you.
That's,
It's 250.
How is it? Was it good?
yeah, brilliant, yeah, love it. Where?
Done riding or?